Another beautiful and relatively expensive area of Portugal is the Algarve. The Algarve is the southern part of Portugal, and because it's down south, the wintertime temperatures are very mild. I visited the Algarve in the autumn, and it's absolutely beautiful. Some of the views of the coastline are simply stunning. Having said that, a lot of the cities down there have become very popular with expatriates, and the prices have risen accordingly. Cities like Lagos have become very popular, but they're also quite expensive. If you're interested in this part of the country and price is not such a concern for you, you might choose to check it out. There are other great cities like Faro and Albufeira and Sagres and Tavira. They're really very beautiful. So it is becoming an increasingly popular part of the country. Now, I've gone over some of the relatively expensive places in Portugal. However, if you're moving to Portugal to take advantage of geoarbitrage, meaning that you're looking to save on your everyday living costs, you're in luck because Portugal has a lot of terrific options that offer great cost savings, especially relative to the United States. Now, I'm going to begin by talking about one part of the country that's incredibly cheap to live, and that's the interior of Portugal. Portugal is famous for its gorgeous coastlines. However, the interior of the country is really very beautiful as well. Now, I want you to keep in mind that there are some great bargains in the interior. You might be able to find a house to purchase for 50,000 euros. But bear in mind, if you're going to renovate a home, or if you're going to purchase land and build a home, not only are you going to be in a part of the world where things move a little bit more slowly than they do back home, you're going to be in a part of the country where things move especially slowly, and there may be delays with getting things like building materials. So if that's what you want to do, bear in mind that you're going to have to exercise a little bit of patience. Marvão, Monsaraz, and Monsanto are all great towns in the interior of Portugal. They're very small towns, but they're incredibly charming. If you're looking to save and live away from the coast, but you feel like you need to be closer to a city, then you might want to check out Braga. Braga is consistently voted one of the cheapest cities to live in Portugal. Now, let's move to the part of the country where I chose to settle. North of Lisbon, going up to the Silver Coast. Just north of Lisbon is Sintra. Sintra is an incredibly beautiful town, and it used to be very affordable. However, that's changing of late. Having said that, it still offers some value for homebuyers and renters alike. Sintra is only a 30-minute train ride from Lisbon. It's also very, very close to Cascais. You'll find that because Sintra is a microclimate, you've got beautiful beaches right there. You've also got a lot of evergreen trees in Sintra, which is great if you're a person who's into hiking and you enjoy going to the mountains. Sintra really offers a lot. There are also terrific restaurants in Sintra, and the views are incredible. Moving north from Sintra, you'll get to Ericeira. Ericeira is a beautiful little beach town. I shouldn't really say it's a little town because it's not so little. It's not quite a city, but it is bigger than a small town. The thing that I love about Ericeira is it's famous for being the surfing mecca of Portugal. It's also very popular with younger people. So if you're a younger single person who craves a bit of a social scene, you might find that Sintra is a great spot to settle down. Having said that, Sintra is a little bit more expensive than other small beach towns on the Silver Coast. As you move north from Ericeira, you get to the town of Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is a little bit smaller and a little bit quieter than Ericeira. It's still a beautiful beach town. It's a very comfortable place to live, and I think it's a great spot for young families. Another thing that makes Santa Cruz so great is its proximity to our next city, Torres Vedras. Torres Vedras is a very affordable city. I say it's a city, it's certainly not a town. It's about 30 to 40 minutes driving from Lisbon, depending on traffic. It's also only about 10 or 15 minutes from Santa Cruz. It's a great city because even though it's small, it's very charming. There's a downtown central historic district that's really cool to walk around. There's lots of great restaurants and cafes. It's also a great city if you're a person who needs proximity to healthcare. CUF Torres Vedras, the hospital, is located there, and there are several branches of CUF all over Portugal. I always travel to the hospital in Torres Vedras. I found the care there to be excellent. So if you need proximity to healthcare, Torres Vedras might be an excellent choice. Next, we're going to get to Peniche. If you look at a map of Portugal and you go up the west coast, as you move up the west coast, you'll see there's a little peninsula that juts out into the Atlantic Ocean. That little peninsula is the town of Peniche. Peniche was famous as being a fishing village, and it's since reinvented itself as a major tourist destination. Now, I live just south of Peniche in a little village called Consolação. It's about 5 minutes south of Peniche. Both Peniche and Consolação are very popular with Portuguese tourists and tourists from all over Europe, particularly in the summertime. During the winter months, it's a bit quieter. But Peniche is very popular with surfers from all over the world throughout the entire year. When I moved to Consolação in early 2019, I was able to purchase my home there for 130,000 euros. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, and it's about 100 meters from the beach. So I can walk to the beach from my house. So prices have gone up a bit since I moved there. I would say they've gone up quite a bit, but there are still some values to be found, not just in Peniche and Consolação, but in the surrounding villages like São Bernardino and Geraldes. So you do need to get up there and explore a little bit, but there are some beautiful villages and towns around there that offer some great values. As you move south from my town, about 15 minutes south of Consolação is a little beach town called Areia Branca. Areia Branca, which means white sands, is stunning. It's a very popular vacation destination during the summertime, but it's become an increasingly popular destination for expatriates who are choosing to relocate to Portugal. Now, one of the great things about Areia Branca is it's only about 5 minutes from Lourinhã, which is a larger town. I wouldn't say it's a city, but it's a larger town on the Silver Coast. So in Areia Branca, you really have access to everything that you need. And you're also not all that far from places like Torres Vedras, where you have those great hospitals. Having said that, if there's a lesson to be learned from looking at real estate in Areia Branca, it's that many luxury developers have gone in and they've built a lot of villas and fancy condominiums. Now, if that's what you're looking for, that's great. I looked at some places there and the price tag was 750,000 euros, which is coming upwards of $1 million. That is incredibly expensive for this area of Portugal. So I think a lot of builders in this part of the country are simply looking to take advantage of wealthy expatriates who are moving in and who are willing to pay these high prices. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think it's just something that you need to be aware of if you're looking at property there and in the surrounding areas, or really anywhere in Portugal. Be aware of what local standards are and be aware of what some builders are trying to charge for new properties. Next, I'm going to talk about Foz de Arelho and Caldas de Rainha. Caldas has become a very popular destination for expats. To be honest, I'm not really quite sure why. I don't particularly like it very much, but having said that, it does offer a lot of services, a lot of amenities, including a small shopping mall. So I think people who crave those conveniences, they tend to gravitate to towns like Caldas de Rainha. And I think if you go slightly outside of the town, there are some beautiful areas. Having said that, if you drive west from Caldas de Rainha, there's a long straight road, and the pot of gold at the end of that road is Foz de Arelho. It's a beautiful little beach. So even if you decide not to move there, you decide to move to one of the surrounding towns in the Silver Coast, I really suggest going down to visit and visiting one of those restaurants. There's a strip of restaurants right along the beach that have great seafood and great views. So it's really a terrific place to check out. You're also very close to Óbidos Lagoon, which is really beautiful. If you go about 20 minutes inland from Peniche, you'll get to the town of Óbidos. Óbidos was a city that was built for a Portuguese queen, and the central part of the city, the focal point of the city, is the walled castle. Now, I chose not to live in Óbidos because I wanted to be closer to the coast. Having said that, whenever people come to visit me in Portugal, I always make it a point to take them to Óbidos because it really is such a beautiful city and there's so much history there as well. So even if you choose not to make this city your home or to make this town your home, it's definitely a place that you should visit while you're in Portugal. As you move north from Foz de Arelho, you get to the town of São Martinho de Porto. São Martinho de Porto is a picturesque beach town. The central focal point of this town is a large horseshoe-shaped bay, and right in front of the beach, you've got tons of restaurants, tons of bars and cafes, and there's a really large expat presence in São Martinho de Porto, particularly a lot of folks from the UK. So if you're a person who's moving abroad for the first time and you feel that you need to be closer to an expatriate community, São Martinho de Porto might be an option for you. North from São Martinho de Porto, we get to the fishing village of Nazaré. Now, Nazaré was relatively unheard of until years ago. People found out that the largest waves on Earth strike this coast. So every winter, people from all over the world gather to see the best surfers take on these waves. As a result, Nazaré has become world famous. However, there are still a lot of great real estate bargains to be found in and around Nazaré. It's also a town that it's a little bit hilly as you move away from the beach. And it's a little bit spread out, I've found. It's not a great city for walking, I think. But there are tons of bargains here, and if you've got a car and you can drive around, Nazaré is a great spot to consider on the Silver Coast. Okay, so the locations that I've gone over in this section of the course, as I said, this is not an exhaustive list of the places within Portugal where you can choose to visit. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of background knowledge so that you can figure out a place that you might be interested in moving to. So that's going to be the focus of our reflection activity in this section of the course. So let's get started.